All right, part 2. Welcome to the Cerberus podcast, part 2, episode 2. Well, really part 1, episode 1.
Beautiful work.
Wow, yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to press mute on the other screen. We are watching Oklahoma State versus NC State Naples on Flow right now. So a little shout out to Flow. I guess we love you guys right now. Should we just go back to full screen and just mute? There we go.
Oh, that works.
All right. So if we pause out for a second because something good is going on there,
Where is the...
scroll down just a little bit.
Yeah.
And the great thing about this podcast is this is just us talking, and you know, if you hear us talking about go find this, go find that, and you hear the wrestling clip turn on, we may eventually turn it back on, you know, if something really exciting happens. Right now, 29 seconds left. Number 4, Piccinini, is losing to Foz. Number 8.
Who's got riding time?
Oh, he's got riding time
He's
too?
got a minute
So in
20
essence,
left,
he's up by
so
2. I thought he was just up by 1.
No, he's got 2 minutes.
So Piccinini has to get a turn, or... Oh, no.
Oh, and we get the 2 reversal.
That was...
For those, y'all obviously did not hear it because we didn't record it, but we had the... Coach Purdy just now. He gave probably the coolest intro ever, and sadly didn't record it.
Yeah, I was just like, welcome to the Cerberus podcast. I did something and then stopped, and Tyler was like,
That was awesome.
are you recording? I was like, no, I didn't press record.
Sorry if I sound a little weird. I'm actually just getting over something. I'm a little congested, guys, so my voice sounds different. It sounded a little bit same as like last time, but you know, apologize if it's hard to hear me at times.
So, but we got K Brock coming up, probably one of my favorite wrestlers, minus probably Dayton Fix and JoJo Smith or Joseph Smith now. You know, all these guys at Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State's going to be legit next year. I'm just going to get right into it.
Oh, absolutely.
Next year, Oklahoma State is
They break
going
the
to be a
streak.
contender.
I feel like next year's Oklahoma State, they're probably going to break the trend of Penn State dominating, or I wouldn't say dominating, but just winning at NCAA's. It's probably bold to say, but I'm calling it. I'm sorry. I'm calling it now.
So, all right, Tyler's calling Oklahoma State next year. I called Ohio State earlier this year. Heck, I called Oklahoma State, Derringer's senior year.
Derringer's senior year.
I really thought Oklahoma State
and
was
then,
going to win.
I forget what happened.
There were a couple injuries.
Yeah, it was
and
injury
things
prone, and they just...
who was it? Crutchmer, one of my favorite guys, he never did quite get back to where he was like the previous 2 years.
No. But we did dedicate a headlock, specifically named we call it the Crutchmer. Just his little cool sack headlock that he did against, it was Iowa? No, it wasn't Iowa, was it?
No, it was Iowa because it was
the
grapple
on the gridiron.
Grapple on the gridiron.
It's a cool little headlock.
Yep.
I recommend going to look at it.
Snap. Geez. I don't know who's in control here. No, he's got 4. He almost put himself in danger. K Brock, as great as he is, his biggest threat, really, other than Seth Gross, I feel, has been himself. He's just put himself in danger in situations, and other people have been able to capitalize on those situations. That being said, I mean, the dude is funky.
Yeah,
I mean, he comes up with some stuff. His inside trip is mean. This Turk series
Yeah, I was about to say
right
that
now,
leg Turk is just brutal.
you know, so all that stuff is great. Well, a couple of reasons we decided to go ahead and record quickly again. One, we've been wanting to do this for a long time, so we figured why not go ahead and get episode 2 up. We're going to stick with roughly 30 minutes for right now. We felt that time worked out really well for us, and like we mentioned earlier, the idea of us just talking and doing things and recording our conversations is part of the premises of this wrestling podcast. But we actually did write down some notes and mention some things that we're going to try to cover today. So we're going to actually try to do a few things.
This could almost be like pilot part 2, I guess.
Yeah, you know, I mean, it's going to be a learning experience for us as we go, no
Yeah.
lie. So this is pilot part 2. Got a lot of great feedback from people. Hopefully, sometime soon, we even got maybe somebody wanting to do a little bit of intro and outro music for us, which would be awesome. Stuff like we'll add to the podcast. I've already had some people mention being a guest on the show. We would love to start doing guests. Like I said, for right now, we're just really just trying to record and get something out there. We got it on YouTube. We've got the channel. We're going to upload that. So
it is. I'll probably upload both to my personal one again, and also now the official podcast channel. It will be the Cerberus podcast. Just all.
I think that's going to be a debate.
Yeah.
You pronounce it differently than I do. I
Yeah,
say Cerberus.
I've heard a lot of people do that. I heard, I was actually...
Cerberus?
Yeah, Cerberus and Cerberus.
Yeah, so...
Someone comment in the video how it's properly pronounced.
Yeah.
I've heard both pronunciations.
I've heard both.
And I'm torn myself. Like, Rogan pronounces Cerberus. Or
Cerberus?
Cerberus, yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's just what I heard it said as first. I think it's one of those things, tomato, like, how did you hear it first?
We're going to have a debate in the comment section. People are going to be picking sides.
Or we'll just go first takedown wins.
First takedown, overtime.
I'd hit him right now, except he's holding coffee in my room. So, through the window, takedown. But, so we do have a little bit of our itinerary worked out when we talk about a few different things.
Also, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there, but if y'all want to see video while we do this as well, please let us know, because we were just toying around with the software here, and we figured out how we can upload video, and where we're at right now is just we didn't want to show it at the moment, but if y'all want it to be audio and video, just put in the comment yes or no, and let us know.
In all actuality, I plan on finishing off this room over here. I just got a lot of junk on the bed in the back. This is really the guest bedroom / computer room / now podcast room / flow computer room when I'm watching things on here. So it's kind of a multi-purpose room for this house. But I think it would be cool to have the option of doing both. We'll eventually get it set up. We'll upload video to YouTube, and then when we get a channel or something, we'll have the straight audio file for just downloading as well. Yes. From if we can. I was looking at it yesterday, like setting up an iTunes account to set up and have it, so you can just download the audio. So if you're out and just want to put it on your iTunes app or whichever, or the podcast app, or Stitcher maybe, if we can get on something like that as well. But
we got a lot of support from you guys, and we appreciate that.
So we want to do it as good as we can do it. We want to have video for those that have time to sit and watch. Look at our beautiful mugs over here while we're sitting there drinking coffee.
There will be a lot of coffee on this podcast. Lots of coffee.
Doing things, and it'd be funny too. Like I don't put it past us to really geek out over something. Like, did you see how he lifted that leg, or the technique, and just even though it's a smaller room, but like showing some hand position. You can't see me right now, but I'm literally moving my hands around different grips for different holds on a single leg and stuff right now. But that would be kind of
because about to be a tech here in a second, guys.
Oh gosh, So,
which for those of you who do not know in wrestling, a tech fall is
a difference of 15 points in collegiate style wrestling.
And it's actually very impressive. It's kind of weird. This is not on our little script, quote unquote.
Yeah, we haven't even got to our script yet today.
We have talked about this before. Why is a tech fall worth less than a pin? Yes, pin is the ultimate goal, but when you get to these higher levels,
you can catch anybody in a pin. Somebody can headlock somebody and catch them. Now, not to say that there isn't skill involved in pinning somebody, because there definitely is, especially at a higher level. But you don't accidentally walk into a tech fall.
No, you do not. That takes a lot of.
And technical superiority, I think, should almost be more than pin superiority.
Yeah.
Superiority. I don't know. Who wants to do it? Who's listening to us? Who's going to get the tech chain out there?
Yeah.
Because we got the pin chain from Ohio.
Now a tech chain, that'd be something you wouldn't see very often, so it'd be kind of special. Which a tech, I don't know if we mentioned it or not. I just forgot because I'm watching this match right now. But a tech fall is actually worth 5 points as far as team score. In a dual system, it's 5 points.
Pin is 6.
Yeah.
Go ahead and do it. Pin is 6. A major decision
is 4.
Which is 4, which is difference of 8 or more points. And beating your opponent from 1 to 7 points is called a decision, and that's 3 points. So, and there's the tech fall. Cade Brock, my man. All right. So we can talk more into that and our reasons for and all that kind of stuff. But a couple of things that another reason why I wanted to go ahead and jump on recording today is lots of big stuff coming out this weekend.
Something that
when I say big stuff, actually it's little guys.
Technically,
it looks kind of fun to say.
Ironically, it's at the 125 weight class.
Yeah,
we're thinking about here.
So, at the 125 weight class, Nathan Tomasello is supposed to be returning back to wrestling. I don't think anybody ever said his was an undisclosed lower body injury, and
he got a vasectomy. No, I'm kidding.
I don't remember anything ever coming out? Was it a turf toe? Was it a knee? Was it a hip? Was it abdominal? Like, I mean, did he pull his lower back or hamstring while he was lifting? Because he is a stud. He is a stout dude.
Dean Heil right now.
Yeah, Dean Heil versus Jack.
Yeah.
You know,
Jack? Was he the one that a couple years ago the NCAA's like?
He's the one. Him and Bryce Meredith would always battle with, and it was actually, remember, Bryce Meredith and Kevin Jack were the ones that were. They both ran at NC State, and they're both good friends. And then I don't remember where Kevin Jack is from, but obviously Bryce Meredith is from Wyoming, and he got kind of homesick. He wasn't beating Jack in the room for the starting position, from my understanding, from reading about things. And so he went back home. And for him, that's been, the move of the century. Like, moving back home, being comfortable, wrestling from Wyoming, being close to family, all that kind of stuff has just elevated his game. And then he's come back and he's beaten Jack 3 out of 4 times they've wrestled since he's left, I think.
I'm trying to remember the name of the guy from, it was NC State. I'm pretty sure it was NC State. It was either NC State or maybe Virginia Tech. I knew it was an ACC school. But 2015 NCAA's was, if I'm not mistaken, he wasn't even on the roster in January. It was either start of January. He was just he wasn't even on their varsity roster, I guess. But he ended up pulling up huge upsets and getting pretty far in the tournament. But back to NATO, because we kind of got off topic there.
Yeah, but NATO's back in the lineup for the Ohio State, which I think is key in order to beat Penn State at NCAA. So he's back. I'm looking forward to seeing him wrestle. This is the one that trips me out. I think I think Ohio State, I think it's tonight. I'm going to have to check it out and see. But I think they're wrestling Maryland tonight. But I'm pretty sure they got Rutgers on the list.
And coming up here soon, I can do a quick look up.
If Ohio State and Rutgers is on the list to go soon, check that matchup up.
Yeah.
NATO versus Suriano?
Yeah, that.
Tell me you don't want to see that. Tell me you don't want to see that.
I'm a little unprofessional. I just pulled my phone up, but I'm using it to check the athletics page so I can look at their schedule. Get a little Snapchat selfie.
Snapchat selfie. That's what's going on. Podcast.
I thought he was just going to put himself in, and I was about to be really mad. Like, this is a 2-man operation.
That's why we got the video going on right now. Yeah. All right, so Snapchat selfie. There we go. Sorry about that. But
schedule. Here we go.
But I would love to see NATO versus Suriano right off the bat, just to see what that is gonna do. Yes. Oh my goodness.
So we got.
All right, now this one's gonna be a picture. Take a look up here. There we go. All right. And then the other one that we talked about on the last episode, we talked about True Freshman Wrestling, and
yes, Sunday, January 7th, Ohio State
Rutgers. So
in Jersey.
In Jersey. Suriano versus NATO is a possibility. Now, just because he's back doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to put him in the lineup. Like, they could see how he's doing after the first weight cut tonight against Maryland. It's his first time back. So we'll see if he's there wrestling on Sunday. If he is, that's going to be awesome to see. And I believe Flo's got all the Big Ten Network shows on, so it'll be good to see what's going on with that. But like we were just saying, though, what did we talk about last time? Spencer Lee, not saying that we called it because I think so many people, it's even been hashtag free the Lee, so I can't say that we called this.
No, I'm saying we called it. Even though we didn't, we did.
But just the discussion of true freshmen coming out and being ready to go, and Iowa, I believe it's tonight as well, is pulling
Lee's red shirt.
Who are they wrestling tonight? Is it I can't even remember who they're wrestling.
I don't remember who they're wrestling.
But who cares? I just want to see him wrestle, and in black and gold.
Yes.
Attached. Attached, not unattached.
Oh gosh.
So. Oh man, I'm excited to see that. So, but I think that's awesome that Lee, NATO, 125, already implications. Suriano versus NATO.
That cat from Minnesota.
Lee's backpack. Lee's 125 is going to be crazy.
Especially come Big Ten time.
Yeah.
Woo,
it's already shaping up to be crazy. And this match is actually really good right now too. 2-2, Dean Heil with 35 seconds riding time.
Jack trying to come out the back here.
Yeah.
We would try to explain it to you, but there's no way you could possibly understand what we're about to explain right now because basically, Heil is standing on his head with his legs kind of
he has nothing
around
else on
Jack,
his,
while Jack's sitting. Yeah, like it's hard to explain.
Oh, no, he's still got the leg. No, he's
got to
still
get
got
that
that
leg
ankle.
out. This is a funk roll type situation.
10
here.
seconds left. Do you think, potentially dangerous? Are they going to call it? No.
That knee's in danger.
Yeah, potential. There it is. So, and now that gets to the other thing that I was going to say, and this also has to do with Spencer Lee. We are finally on to our list of things that we meant to talk about. But Spencer Lee, you heard us talk about it last time at Midlands. We said we wanted to, talk about it in live time and such. We went back and we watched it pretty much right after the podcast started talking. We almost started recording right away. But watching that match in live time, I mean, first off, Spencer Lee is amazing, and Bresser is for real. I mean,
yeah,
dude is for real. There's
legit.
nothing about that match that I would say that, Lee was the dominant person and deserved to win, which I hate the term deserve or, any of that kind of stuff. It was just a great match all around, and then it came to the end and this whole reversal situation, and did Lee have control? And we kind of both got to the point where we agreed that Lee didn't get control the way the ref was calling it because he was held on until he elevated that second leg is what it looked like. And when he elevated that second leg,
it's right at
we kept pausing it, rewinding, pausing it. It was right at 1 second left. Now, here's the kicker. While we both felt that was 2, at that point in time, after having just gone and officiating some matches, because we got Tyler was working the table and I was officiating some JV matches, and just being the official out there and having to make those type of calls, I feel like the official did a good job and he made the call based off of real time of when somebody's counting down time on whether or not to say control or no control and whether that was 2.
What is up with the way that looks like he's got his legs on the inside?
Some people then he's hiding his ankles.
Yeah, that is flexible right there.
Yeah, it's very flexible.
But yeah, no,
But I think the official made the right call based off of his judgment of where he was and looking at it and, just saying, okay, when I heard 2, I did not establish control yet. Now, the other part that I want to, almost play devil's advocate with myself is, whereas I feel like the official made the right call for him at that time, I felt that a review process would have showed that after we watched it over and over and over and rewinding, pausing, that yes, that was control in 2 with that half second to a second left, that's what that process is supposed to do. Take out the human error of the official just kind of going by a towel tapper or somebody's yelling time and him saying, no, that I didn't feel he had control yet. He felt like we should have, that's the great thing we talked about last time is this replay era and things like that.
It's to me, I still think that he should have been awarded the 2, but just like you said, we have that luxury of sitting here with 2 computers in front of us. We can look at it from different views. We can slow it down, go back in time. We can look at it multiple angles. The thing with that ref is he's seeing it from where he's positioned on the mat.
Listening to crowds yelling to or not to, officials do a good job. Well, I won't say all officials, but most officials should do a good job of trying to, take that stuff out of it and just listen to the match and go for it from there. Dude, it's 3-2, 37 seconds left. Jack is shooting. Crazy stuff. But, so, like I said, I think the official did a good job, but he didn't have the advantage of all that stuff. And he should feel comfortable making that call because he knows that there's a replay system. If somebody needs to then look at it some more, then they can slow it down, look at it, and check it all out.
Now this
last 20 seconds, and then it's unfortunate that.
Now what is it called? Isn't it called the Dean Heil rule? Almost with the whole danger position on the.
Cameron, where'd it go?
2.
Wow, 12 seconds.
Jack
left.
just scored with just got a takedown.
No, they're still wrestling. They're not out of bounds. There's 6 seconds.
He's still got his. It's 6 seconds and whoa. Whoa, what's up with the score on? Come on, Flo, get your stuff together.
No, moving around. So it's just 4-3.
Yeah, it's only 4-3.
Yeah.
Jack wins.
The score was bouncing around there. Had us all like, what's going on
So
here?
it looks like the score is now 9-12.
I think what they were doing was they were moving when somebody started moving the team score, it started moving the score over there. But
so that's actually a kind of a. I don't want to say an upset. It's not an upset, but then that was a
no,
good
that's
match
an upset. That's Heil's number 2.
Heil is number 2, but Jack is a solid wrestler.
No, he's solid, but Heil's still supposed to win that match.
Yeah, I mean he was supposed to.
So it's got to be an upset. Yeah.
But then again, I mean, how far do you get into an upset? Would you call a 4 beating a 2 an upset. I mean, they're both high quality.
They're both high quality wrestlers,
So-
but if you have your rankings, you got to call it an
Yeah.
upset based off the rankings.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's not something that I was surprised to see.
let's say this, you know, and I'm gonna be mean about it. Like Alabama beating Clemson
Yeah.
was an upset.
I still hadn't got over that. But
Yeah, I know you haven't said it. It's been a while, so I
Honestly-
figured it's been a couple days. I figured I'd throw it out there now. But it technically, because of ranking, that was an
Technically,
upset.
yeah,
But in the eyes of many, was it an upset?
No.
That's your argument. Like
Actually, it would have been an upset if it was the other way around.
when you have
in
two
some people's
teams
eyes.
or two individuals
Yeah.
that are that close in rankings, then
Yeah.
is it really an upset? Upsets are really more like 12 beating 2,
Yes.
things of that nature.
And on the subject of upsets, even though it's not even nowhere near the subject of upsets, we mentioned Spencer Lee earlier. I just want to make a correction. I didn't think about it until like 2 days after. We were talking about Chad Red, and you may or may not have caught it, but I talked about a match they had, and I didn't mean, who's number one? No, that was Luke Pletcher and Chad Red, not Spencer Lee. I was thinking about it, and I was like, oh man, that never happened. I don't know why I said. I think we were just talking about Spencer Lee so much that. But yeah, no, it was Luke Pletcher and Chad Red. That beautiful match, by the way. But
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, there are lots of great scrambles, things like that. Was it Pletcher and Fix that had the? Did you ever see that one? When Who's Number One did the unlimited overtime? Like they just said, normally overtime is 1 minute,
It's
but
1
they
minute
said
first takedown.
yeah, but they said no. We're just going to go one overtime, first person to score.
See, that's what
No
we
clock.
needed to do the other day.
'Cause
We had those JV guys going to they hit
Quadruple overtime,
It was
whatever.
like we had to make up a rule for the 4th overtime because we didn't have the rule book sitting there right in front of us. I mean, and honestly, it could have been ended so much sooner. And I don't want to throw those kids under the bus, but I mean, like,
Yeah, but it's JV wrestling.
it was JV
But-
wrestling, so you can't.
And they both wrestled hard. But so you didn't see that though. That Who's Number One is
No, I did
Dayton
not.
Fix, and might have been Luke Pletcher, or was it Suriano? I can't remember. It was 3. Well, I was still at the old house 3 maybe 4 years ago. But it was a 25-minute match because that overtime match did not end. It was
It's kinda like jiu-jitsu at that point.
Beauty, like they were just going and going and going. And it was funny because they were just like, yeah, we're going to do an unlimited overtime. Like, we're just going to go with it until somebody scores. And they didn't figure that it was going to go 20-something
That's
minutes.
kind of like in jiu-jitsu.
And it was all good wrestling,
Now,
too.
I know this is, we talk about a lot of things on this podcast, we will. Jiu-jitsu, I do compete in jiu-jitsu now that I'm a grown man, and you can't really, I'm not on the Olympic level, so it's not like I can compete in wrestling right now. But no, I was at a jiu-jitsu tournament down in Atlanta, Marietta, Georgia, and there was a match, I swear, went on for 45 minutes because the way the overtime system works in jiu-jitsu is, submission only, is like they'll put you in a position, or you get to choose a position, and then you have to try to sub them within a certain amount of time, and if you don't, then they get a chance, and if they don't, then it just keeps going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And these two women went into, like, I stopped counting, but their match was like 45 minutes long, and I'm like, holy crap. But the thing about jiu-jitsu is you can stall. You can just lay on top of somebody. You can't do that in wrestling.
Yeah.
But I remember watching that, and I was tired for them. So it's...
All right, so check this out, because I added it to our list while we're watching this match. One of the things, several rule changes that have happened is, one of the rule changes is you can now have a beard. Now, granted, I think it can't be longer than an inch long or something like that in wrestling for college athletics. In high school athletics, you still have to be clean shaved.
Like UFC one?
Yeah, you still kind of have to be clean shaved. You can have a mustache, but you have to be clean shaved in high school. But in college, you can have the beard. We got this cat out here from NC State, Donahue, who actually has got a pretty grizzly looking beard going on. But my question is, like, at what point does this beard interfere with the chin cup that he's got going on here?
It looks like he's got kind of a scruffy beard.
It's kind of weird when you look at, and I've never quite got how those NFL players with those full beards wear their chin straps and stuff is going on.
Well, I mean, you look at people in the NFL with dreads; they get their helmet knocked off all the time because it doesn't fit properly. But my thing about these beards and mustaches. Mustaches are a tricky thing. This is kind of a weird, grooming type thing. But mustaches are a tricky thing. If you look at yourself and you don't look like Tom Selleck or Dan Severn, don't grow a mustache, please. You just look creepy. Who was it? Was it Cerberus from? He used to have a mustache, I think, or is it just his mullet? But anyway, he's got a creepy look to him. So
It's got well,
But
unless
this
you grow
man-
it out long enough where you can handlebar it or something like
Like,
that.
see,
with a
this
stick.
man Donahue right now, if he
He's
were to
got-
shave everything off and keep that mustache,
He would look like
I would be
no,
okay with that.
He would look like Devin calls him Mario, the guy that was
Yeah.
Andy Bisick from Greco.
Yeah.
You know, has a killer mustache. You know.
Yeah.
It was great with him and
So wrestlers
Rossman.
around, if you have a mustache, please make sure you can pull the look off. If you question if you can or can't, then you probably can't.
Yeah.
You know, you wouldn't know, and that's
But
kind of
watch that knee there. That looks dangerous.
Yeah, it
But
is
what I'm
dangerous.
getting at though is like I think the rule changes are good. Like we've seen like the beard. People are choosing to grow a beard so you don't look weird with just a mustache. They look a little less. Yeah, because it kind of made some people look a little bit weird, like
It did.
kind of growing just the mustache. Some people would choose to kind of have the funny look. I mean, you got the Minnesota waterfall with the mullet and
Yeah.
things like that. So unless you're Sammy Brooks from Ohio, you know you can't grow a mullet in a day. Can't win a tournament in a day, is what did he say on that one
Yeah.
interview, which was great.
Speaking of rule changes, what's that one? And I can't remember what they call it, but if it's the danger rule or not, but I think it is.
Yeah, danger with
Yeah.
swipes to the back. Like you used to have people that would go to their back in these funk rolls, and they would never say that the other person had control or that the offensive wrestler, I guess, since maybe there wasn't
Yeah.
a score yet, since he was on his back. Like they were trying to reward to keep people from going to their back. So
See,
that was one
and
of the
that's
things.
I think who they well people I don't think they made it after anybody, but jokingly people talk about that was I think it might have been Heil's rule.
Heil, yeah, like he was one of those guys that could scramble and funk scramble and end up there for a lot.
And I think
There
people
were a lot of people that had, and they were just trying to get. I think again, it was one of those things like where they were trying to avoid people stalling again.
Mhm.
So again, the rule came from the lack of the ability of the official to call stalling.
Yeah.
Like just call it stalling, because if they're just there for stalling purposes, call it stalling. If they're actually there in wrestling, I said let it go. Nice cut back.
So now
Other
it's
thing
2-3.
is, I have yet to see it. Well, Edinburgh did it. Was it this year or last year? Edinburgh came out with the compression shirts and
I think
compression
that was
bottoms.
early this year.
Was it like early this year?
Or was it-
So
what
far, I
year?
haven't seen anybody
No,
else.
no, it was last year.
It was last
Pretty
year.
sure, yeah.
So far, I'm kind of surprised at the collegiate level we haven't seen anybody else come out with it. High school, I think, is done a good job of adapting to it, embracing it. We're seeing more and more tournaments, more people, more teams where people come out with compression shirts and fight shorts, or compression shirts and compression shorts, things of that nature.
Okay, so we
The
got
reason
two
why I
minutes,
bring
4-3.
yeah.
They got
The reason why I bring that up is because I mean, I don't know, I'm a little bit of a gear junkie. I'm a little
Yes,
bit of a gear
yeah,
hound,
yeah.
and you know, just things like even though I'm talking about the singlet right now, I mean, NC State singlet is sharp. It looks like it's got the little camo
So yeah, that's
going, and it's got the North Carolina State with an American flag on it, and they still got their NC State stuff on it, but you know, I mean, their stuff's looking good, and I think it's good to do stuff like that.
Yeah.
On these special events, like this is a college wrestling match, and I don't know if we mentioned this earlier or not. We might. I'm pretty sure we did, but this is a college wrestling match we're watching right now that is in Italy. It's in Naples. Like
yeah. And
they're
not only is it just
overseas,
it's not
yeah.
just a regular match. I mean, this is number 4 Oklahoma State and number 6 NC State. So this is actually a really big matchup. And then
Yeah,
it's now
it's
going to
good.
sudden. It's going to overtime. But yeah, I meant to ask you that. I don't think we may or may not have had this topic conversation before. Now, as far as singlets go, are you kind of into these newer looking singlets, or do you still like the traditional look of like say like this Oklahoma State?
I would
or
say like we kind of have
Iowa?
it right now. Like we have the classic versus
Yeah.
new school. NC State obviously pulled out a new school singlet. I don't know if this is
Oh.
two. Wow. But
So now that ties it up to 12-12 as far as team score.
yeah. I'm an Oklahoma State fan though, so I'm gonna push you in a second. No. Keep on saying yeah.
I'm just
no.
I'm pulling for NC State because as a Clemson fan, I feel like I need to give full support to the ACC whenever I can.
I have no loyalties to
ACC is actually
an
an up-and-coming wrestling conference.
I do like ACC as far as an up-and-coming conference.
You look at all the teams. You got Virginia Tech. You got NC State. Clemson should have a wrestling team.
I was about to say, that's why maybe I'm not going to.
Yeah,
but they should have.
There's no reason. North Carolina's pretty solid. Duke's actually not
Oh,
horrible.
I saw Tony Ramos had on his either Snap or Instagram story or something like that. He goes, they told me it doesn't get cold down here. And it shows his backyard full of snow with all this weather. I'm like, yeah, he left Iowa thinking that he was getting away from snow.
I've actually got a friend in Iowa, and she sent me a picture the other day. She's like, today this is the warm high for today. And she's like all bundled up, and it was 7 degrees.
It's kind of like how it felt this morning when we
This
woke
is like
up.
what is it? The movie with Dennis Quaid and Jake Gyllenhaal, The Day After Tomorrow.
Oh, yeah,
like the
yeah.
whole world
One of those
freezes
frozen.
over, yeah.
I mean, but we don't even have that outside. It's cold and clear. It's cold for no reason.
Yeah.
All right, but enough about weather. But yeah, no, I am. I'm a fan of both worlds. Like, as a gear hound, I like classic stuff.
Yeah.
I like the classic gear. There'll always be something about Oklahoma's orange singlet. Although Oklahoma does have the black ones with the cowboy head on the side, so they got
Those are pretty.
they
cool,
got some
actually,
new
like-
school flair stuff too.
No, they also got the one that's got the O.
Yeah, and they
Yeah,
have the
so-
one with the. Well, that's Ohio State, or does Oklahoma have one of those too?
I think Oklahoma has one too. I know Ohio State wears that one regularly on
Yeah.
just about.
I haven't seen them wear it in a while though. I think since like Palmer or something. It's been a while since they've worn theirs.
Almost everything I see them. Like I always see the one with the big O, but
Huh.
Michigan has kind of a basic singlet.
They have a basic singlet. So I'm a fan of.
Cornell is like Cornell looks like a middle school basic. Like it's just a giant C, and I think that's it. Like I don't.
But
even
it works for them. So like,
Yeah.
I think it's one of those things. There are certain programs that do really well just going classic and old school,
Yes.
and then there are other programs that have the ability to pull off wearing something new and different. Ohio State wears something kind of new and different. Edinburgh wore the other things. NC State looks good with their stuff over here.
Iowa's worn the same singlet for.
Iowa has had the black,
It's black with two.
and I love their singlet. It's
yeah, it
classic.
just has Iowa
Now,
on the leg and.
the biggest thing that they did was like they had the headgear that had the camo on it one year, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
That was when Metcalf was there. I think his senior year.
Yeah,
But it
she's
would be
also
cool
got
if
the
they.
shoe, the camo
I
shoes.
could really see somebody like Iowa doing a black and gold camo, and it not looking high school cheesy.
Yeah.
Like they'd be like the only ones that could pull something like that off.
Yeah, I mean,
But
it's because their color scheme is very basic, and I know Trent's probably loving this right now. I'm like, oh yeah, keep up with my alma mater. But
yeah,
yeah.
so
Speaking of Iowa though, and we've talked about this. This is also we're kind of jumping from here to there, and this is not really on our script, but the whole Iowa and Iowa State battle that me and you've talked about.
Oh, yeah.
Iowa State has recently stacked their program with some high class coaches, and
yeah, they're all Iowa.
yeah,
coaches.
they're all from Iowa. Just about Metcalf, Iowa guy. He's helps out with Iowa State. So we've talked about
I want to see that duel when it happens.
yes, like how
Like,
that
but I don't want it to happen too soon. I want it when both teams are like
solid. Yeah.
solid. All
Because it's not.
cylinders
I mean,
flying.
it's been a rivalry, but it hasn't.
I'm gonna quote Thomas Gilman say,
Yeah.
"Is it a rivalry when you're always getting beat
Yeah.
by somebody?"
It's one of those things. It's a rivalry because they're in, like Clemson and Carolina. It's a rivalry because they're in state, not because it's like they go
Yeah.
back and forth year after year. But
So,
I'd love to see that.
but yeah, I definitely want to see them get back at it again.
NC State's the one that we talked about a couple years ago that we said be on the lookout for because they've been bringing in a lot of solid wrestlers.
Oh, yeah.
And now look at them. I mean, they've worked their way up to number
Yeah.
6.
So if you were listening to us in the parking lot when we had several of our first episodes, it was just us talking.
Yeah.
We talked about NC State.
And we
a
can
while
do that
back.
during wrestling season because here in South Carolina it's like 80 degrees.
Yeah,
in
normally
November.
we can sit outside and do that, but again, so
You can get eaten by mosquitoes in December. You know,
yeah,
it's
crazy
ridiculous.
enough.
But-
So, well, I think we highlighted what we want to talk about. We talked a lot about 125.
The shooting
We talked
sleeves.
about gear. Oh yeah, shooting sleeves. We were just curious about what do people think about these shooting sleeves. I'm kind of torn on them. Like, I don't know. Like, I kind of get the point of wearing something, a knee pad if you need a knee pad, or maybe the sleeve if you
Yeah.
had a knee surgery and you got to kind of got to keep it warm. But I always wondered, like, Bryce Meredith was the first one that I saw start wearing.
Yeah.
It looked like just a sleeve on one leg, and then.
It's not really any padding or
No,
anything.
so I'm like, is there really, like, what's up with that? Is it just kind of like basketball shooting sleeve where you got to keep one arm warm, or like, I don't know. I'm really, again, 'cause I'm a gear hound, so I really like things and everything wrestling related. But this is one I'm not sure about. Like, I'm almost. I mean, I'm a fan of just the tights and whatnot. If you're gonna go that way, just wear.
Gable, wear the tights.
Yeah, just wear the tights if you're gonna go if you need to go tights. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. So, but I'm curious about the shooting sleeve. I'm wondering, is that gonna be the next thing with wrestling?
Yeah.
Are we gonna start seeing kids at middle school, or maybe not middle school, but are we gonna? When are you gonna see a high school kid with a shooting sleeve on?
Yeah.
I want to see the tournament when we go. When
Now,
we see it, I'm gonna take a picture of it and I'm gonna wonder about it.
I don't know how I feel about it per se, just simply because it's one of those things that, yeah, it looks cool, and I kind of get the concept behind it, keeping that knee warm or keeping your leg warm, but at the same, I don't know. I just know that we.
I'm not sure.
I just don't.
Like I
want
said,
to-
I'm a gear hound. I love all things wrestling related. I mean, can it work? Like, and if we do it, I got to do something. Sorry, Bryce Meredith. I'm a fan of yours, especially this year. I think you're wrestling great, but don't wear a white one because the white ones are throwing me off. They get dingy looking and whatnot. So can we make a way to make this look cool?
Do you want to go ahead and finish this out with just because I mean they only got like a few matches left, I think. You just want to give them finish out with these few matches, or go ahead and call it a.
Nah, I was gonna say we're gonna call it because I want to turn the
Yeah.
volume on this match so you guys can hear it. You can hear it now. I'm gonna turn the volume back on over here. We're wrestling.
Wolfpack fan, you need Hayden to close this out, and then you need upset at either 65 or 74.
See, there you go. So that's what we got to have happen for Oklahoma State to pull this off. Thank you guys. We're gonna get ready to upload all this stuff up here while we're watching the rest of this. So until next time.
Yep.
Out.
See you guys.